All right, before we get to today's video, I've got one for you that I was surprised by, but what do you think the average lifespan of an aftermarket manifold or header is? That's the tubes that come down off of the engine and connect to the exhaust system. What do you think? All right, what's up everybody? Rob Ferrari. Sorry about the brief hiatus. I was on a trip with my family over in Italy and Switzerland. Had a great time, but we're here at Corsa Motors. Before I left, I discovered this problem with my Ferrari and it is now in the shop. It's been here all week. I would have liked to attend to it, but it was running a little bit wrong and you could hear it in the exhaust that there was an issue, and I thought it was something with the catalytic converters or the throttle bodies. Turns out we were able to identify the problem before I left, and I reached out to the IPE, who's the company that makes the exhaust. The problem is the exhaust, especially the flex pipe, sort of just exploded, right? Just disintegrated, and which is weird, but the car definitely wasn't running right, and you could hear it when you started it, especially after we stripped off the heat shielding, and it was not good. You can hear it puffing out the side.
No insulation both sides. So
yeah. Oh, either side.
I cut the insulation.
Okay. The 458's generally super reliable. And the other thing I have to do is I'm going to get this dash leather fixed this week too. The 458's are incredibly reliable with the exception of when they break. And they generally don't break. That's one of those things that makes these cars, anything after the 430 is just like pretty bulletproof. I can't even blame this one on Ferrari because this is an aftermarket exhaust. This is an IPE exhaust, which sounds absolutely phenomenal. But one of the things that you run into is that they insulate the exhaust on the 458s because they generate so much heat. And the more heat you generate, the more likely you are to make your car catch fire. Not good. And you see, this is actually a proper shop. Somebody pointed out in my previous video that when I was working on my NSX, I was just putting the tools right on the paint, and that's where Jersey Discount Tools sent me a care package because they have my address, and they said, we never want to see you do that again because it's not about you, it's about the car. And they sent me a whole bunch of cool stuff to the house. But let me show you what happened to the exhaust. Now this car has, I think, about 21,000 miles on it. It's been on a couple adventure drives. I had it out in the desert last year, ripping it, having a great time. But none of that should impact the exhaust. But the exhaust is now off the car, and here you have this flex pipe, which this is what I showed you earlier in the photo. This is just destroyed. The flex pipe, all of these pieces of the flex pipe fell apart and were in the exhaust. The catalytic converters are fine. The exhausts themselves, and it's surprising. Now, IPE is a very reputable company, and I'll keep you in the loop. They've been responsive. They've asked for photos. They've asked for their serial numbers on the headers. So hopefully they work with me on this because this is not a 20-year-old exhaust or anything like that. There's also cracks, like a lot of cracks. There's one there. Okay, let's see what we got here. There's on this side too. Got the cracks here, crack here. I mean, that's the cracks are not good. This is the other side. I had them take them both off while we were here. This one also cracked on this side, cracked on this side. So and then cracked on this side as well. I'm having Cosmo check the engine mounts. I mean, it's a 20,000 mile car. You should not have these problems. But I did hear that in the exhaust. I did hear a ticking that was concerning to me, and it was on my long-term list of stuff to deal with. But that is an issue, and that hopefully IPE takes care of. These headers are wrapped in like a thermal material, so that masked a lot of the problem. But we're going to have to get these taken care of. I've got a trip to Tail of the Dragon coming up. Now, luckily, I've got a couple of cars. I've got a trip to Tail of the Dragon next week, so I may end up taking the NSX instead. But Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting that with an exhaust, because an exhaust, like especially, they're not cheap exhausts. It's just welds and metal, right? It's not, or titanium or metal, depending on what the exhausts are made out of. You shouldn't be experiencing stuff like this, especially in the higher end companies. If you go on eBay and buy a set of exhaust manifolds or something like that for $80 or $500, you may expect that, but you don't really expect that on the higher end companies, especially when they're like, they're so high end that they're actually stamping serial numbers on the stuff instead of just stamping them out and throwing them on eBay and selling them. So I'll let you know what happens. I want to get these things on, obviously Memorial Day weekend is here, so I'd like to start using the car. I would take this down to the tail of the Dragon. I'd probably have more fun with this car than I would with the NSX there, just because we're going to have like 30 other high-end sports cars, and this one moves quicker than the NSX until we get into the turns. In which case, it doesn't really matter because they both sort of go about the same speed, because we're not setting speed records. We're just going and having a good time. But on the highway, this thing has a much more aggressive or a much more capable pace that you're not going to be able to combat with these other Bugattis and whatever else is coming out on this trip. At least this thing both sounds good, looks good, and it's a great road trip car. The NSX, it's a great road trip car, but it just doesn't go as fast. So I was not expecting that, but I knew in Italy that I was going to come home to have to deal with this. Now I'm just trying to get on top of it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to wait for them. I'm probably going to send these out to try to get them welded while I'm waiting on them to get back to me. Hopefully they just send me new ones and I can get them on the car sooner. That's a better long-term solution. I don't want to just keep re-welding these things because it's a good amount of labor, probably 4 hours to take these on and off. So every time you're doing it, it's $800 in labor to take them on and off, which is, you want to minimize the amount of time you're doing that. Let me point out, Cosmo just took this thing in over here. This is a 1969 Land Rover, and he offered it to me for $6,000. I'm going to make him sell it to you for $6,000. It's a project car. I am done with projects, but this thing looks wicked cool. It's got like a rhino lining on it. It's got the diamond plate. It's a project. When I'm saying I don't know why it doesn't run, it's got all the things you need. It's got a couple of roofs. It's got the engines. All the parts are here. They're just not working. And I don't know what the answer is, but it's worth something. And it's pretty cool. So if you guys are interested in this, I'll put Cosmo's, I'm going to put his business number up. I'm not going to put his cell phone number up. But if you want that, just tell him, give it to you to the same price he was going to give it to me, $6,000. And this can be yours. It comes with 3 different roofs, 1, 2, 3. And a little pickup truck. It's like a great little beach truck. It's got the snorkel, but that's something you may be interested in. And hopefully we can get this up and running by Memorial Day, which is Monday. I can't expect them to come working over the weekend. So if I can make some magic happen, I'm going to take that exhaust out and see if somebody can at least weld it so I have a backup plan. I don't mind spending a couple $100 to have it welded so I have a backup plan and put a new flex pipe on it. If I can get new pieces from IPE, great. If not, hopefully I'll have it next week. I'll keep you in the loop. Rob Ferrari, thank you for watching. I don't know if anyone else has had an experience like this with an IPE or another aftermarket exhaust. If you have, let me know. I don't know why it would crack. I know exhausts do tend to crack when there's a lot of flex or motion. The car's only got 20,000 miles on it, so it doesn't need engine mounts. It shouldn't need trans mounts or anything like that. That's more of like a 430 or a 360 issue. But we'll get these things out and I'll let you know how it goes. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Happy Memorial Day if I don't hear from you. And keep an eye on my Instagram and you'll get an update as to what happens with the car. Or if something magical happens or dramatic happens, I'll let you know. Otherwise, that car's just going to be running and I'm going to be happy again. All right, so IPE got back to me. They said the exhaust manifold has exceeded its useful lifespan, which is 2 years. Then I was like, wow, that's not really it's not really, like, in my head, that sort of blows my mind. If I get an aftermarket manifold or an exhaust system, I expect it to last for the life of the car. I don't think it's going to go bad in 2 years because factory ones don't go bad in 2 years. So why would an aftermarket manifold go bad in 2 years? They did offer to discount it and sell it to me for half price, which is $2,000 versus $4,000, which is still a lot of money. When I get a $15,000 exhaust system, I don't plan on semi-yearly maintenance of replacing the manifolds every couple of years because there's a lot of labor involved in it. And also like why? It blew my mind. So I'm going to put the ones that I'm welding and rewrapping back on. We'll see how long those last. And if I have to take them off again, I'm just going to switch back to stock manifolds or something along those lines because I don't want to have a maintenance item of an exhaust system. That why bother changing it? If I put a 2B exhaust on my car or some sort of aftermarket exhaust on my car, I don't want to change it every couple of years. That's the last thing I would think would be like a consumable item. So there, you learn something new every day. And I looked this up. That is so when you search how long does an aftermarket manifold last, that's what you get, right? You get 2 to 3 years for an aftermarket manifold system, which is wild to me that they cost that much. I think of like Cook's headers or any of these headers. I expect them to last for the life of them. My Corvette has had the same set of headers on it for God knows how long. I don't think of them as like an eBay header that lasts a couple of years. Rob Ferrari, thank you for watching. See you next time.